Everything else is crazy around here. Meanwhile, Binghamton had set a trap. He used $900 of Lieutenant Carpenter's back pay to bait a wallet, which he lost near McHale's shack, hoping to catch the crew in the act of theft. But Sidney found the wallet first. "Sidney ate the captain," Parker screamed when he saw the alligator with Binghamton's ID card in its mouth. Binghamton arrived, furious. "Where is my money? I caught your alligator with my ID. You're all under arrest for grand larceny." A court-martial was convened. "I object," Binghamton screamed. "You can't call an alligator as a witness. I demand a mistrial on the grounds of temporary insanity." Parker shouted back. The alligator was crazy for peanut butter. The trial descended into farce. McHale and the crew managed to lure Sidney into the courtroom with a sandwich. The alligator crawled toward the judge's bench and testified by opening its mouth, revealing the stolen wallet intact. "Exhibit A," McHale declared. Carpenter, seeing his money, burst out. "Oh, thank heaven, my $900. Captain, you said I'd get it back after we trapped McHale." The judge advocate narrowed his eyes. "A trap, Captain Binghamton? Using Navy funds to frame an officer?" Binghamton's face went white. It was an exercise. A test of alligator alertness. The charges were dropped, and Sidney was given a special commendation for honesty. Binghamton, once again, was left footing the bill for the steak and the sandwiches. Chapter 6. The Haunted PT-73. When a transfer order arrived that would move the PT-73 crew to a dangerous and dull outpost, McHale decided to use the captain's own superstitions against him. "We have to convince him the boat is jinxed," McHale whispered. The legend of the PT-13. They painted a 13 over the 73 and began a campaign of psychological warfare. At night, they used hidden speakers to play ghostly voices and rigged the engines to start by themselves. Binghamton, already on edge, visited the boat. "McHale, what is that noise?" "Noise, sir?" McHale asked, looking innocent. "I didn't hear anything. But the legend says the ghosts of the first two crews still haunt these decks." Suddenly, the guns started firing on their own. The lights flickered. A white sheet, actually. Gruber, in a laundry bag, floated across the deck. "I'm a superior officer," Binghamton screamed at the ghost. "You can't haunt me. It's against regulations." "Wally," the ghost moaned. "Give us the transfers. We want to go home." Binghamton fled the boat, clutching his chest. "Take them. Take the transfers. I don't want a haunted boat on my base." The next day, when the ghosts were revealed to be the crew, Binghamton tried to rescind the order, but McHale reminded him that Admiral Rogers had already signed off on it based on Binghamton's urgent report of paranormal activity. "You blackmailing pirates," Binghamton sobbed. "I hope you all get haunted for real." Chapter 7. The Commander of Love. The arrival of a USO show brought a beautiful dancer named Ginger to the island. As it turned out, she was Gruber's girlfriend from Brooklyn. The only problem? Gruber had told her in his letters that he was a lieutenant commander. "Skip, you gotta help me," Gruber begged. "I told her I was the boss. If she sees I'm just a high-class swabby, she'll dump me for a marine." McHale, ever the romantic, agreed. For 1 hour, Gruber wore McHale's uniform, and the rest of the crew acted as his subordinates. "Welcome aboard, miss," McHale said, saluting Gruber. "Commander Gruber is ready for his inspection." "Lester," Ginger squealed, hugging Gruber. "I'm so proud of you." "Just doing my job, pussycat," Gruber said, puffing out his chest. "Ensign McHale, straighten up that line. Toes in, heels out." The ruse was working perfectly until a British Commodore, Norcross, arrived unannounced. He found Commander Gruber giving orders to Ensign McHale. "I say," the Commodore remarked, "you Americans have a very interesting command structure. This McHale fella seems a bit old for an ensign, doesn't he?" "Late bloomer, sir," Gruber barked. "Now, if you'll excuse us, we have a secret mission to Count the coconuts. Binghamton eventually stumbled upon the masquerade. He saw Gruber in the commander's uniform and nearly had a stroke. Gruber, you're wearing stripes. That's impersonating an officer. That's 20 years in the brig. Dachi, Dumose, Dachi, Dumose. But before Binghamton could arrest him, the Commodore praised the ensign, McHale, for a brilliant torpedo run he'd seen earlier. Binghamton, wanting to look good in front of the British, had to pretend the whole switch was a special intelligence operation. Gruber got his girl, McHale got his boat back, and Binghamton got a bill for the British Commodore's lunch. Chapter 8. The $62,000 Cannon. In the final act of this chaotic month, McHale and his crew were sent to New Caledonia to pick up the base payroll, $62,000 in cash. Parker, in charge of the money, took a shortcut through a gambling district and promptly got knocked unconscious. "The money's gone, Skip," Parker cried. "I saw a girl with a birthmark on her ankle, and then darkness. We've got to find that dough before Leadbottom hears about it," McHale said. They scoured the city, looking at every girl's ankle. It was a search that resulted in several slaps and one arrest for suspicious behavior near a park bench. Eventually, they tracked down the thieves to a warehouse. Just as they were about to recover the bag, Binghamton arrived with a squad of MPs. "I knew it! You stole the payroll. Where is it, McHale?" In the chaos of an ensuing air raid, the thieves hid the money inside an old, rusted cannon on the beach. Parker, trying to be a hero, decided to fire the cannon at an incoming Zero. "Parker, don't! It'll explode!" McHale shouted. Boom! The cannon didn't fire a shell. Instead, it rained $62,000 in small bills all over the beach. Binghamton stood in a blizzard of cash, his mouth hanging open. What? "There's your money, Captain," McHale said, catching a $100 bill out of the air. "We were just keeping it safe in the artillery." Binghamton started counting. 1, 2, 3, 99. "I'm going to be here all night." "We'll help you, sir," McHale offered. "For a small finder's fee?" "Get out!" Binghamton screamed, buried up to his knees in money. "Get out and never come back." As the PT-73 roared off into the sunset, McHale looked at his crew and smiled. It had been a busy month on Taratupa, and knowing Binghamton, the next one would be even crazier. The end. The Pirates of Taratupa. A Campaign of Chaos. Prologue. The humidity of madness. The South Pacific sun was not merely a celestial body. It was a personal enemy. On the island of Taratupa, the heat didn't just sit on you. It pressed, whispered, and occasionally tried to melt the brass buttons right off a man's uniform. For Captain Wallace B. Binghamton, known to the men of PT-73, much to his chagrin, as Old Leadbottom the island was a humid purgatory designed specifically to test his sanity. Binghamton sat in his office, the overhead fan doing little more than redistributing the smell of salt, diesel, and his own rising blood pressure. Before him stood Lieutenant Elroy Carpenter, a man whose sycophancy was so profound it often bordered on a religious experience. "Garter belts, Carpenter!" Binghamton barked, slamming a hand onto his desk. "The nurses need garter belts. Garter belts. I am the commanding officer of a strategic naval outpost in a global conflict, and I am currently negotiating the structural integrity of hosiery." "I'll snap to it, sir," Carpenter squeaked. "Shake a leg. Or, well, you know what I mean." "Sir," Binghamton groaned, clutching his stomach. What a war. Everything is on my shoulders. The sinks in the Petty Officers Club are backing up like a geyser of filth, and Tokyo Rose is probably laughing at me from her radio booth. "I'm not a plumber, Carpenter. I'm a captain." But the plumbing was the least of his worries. A message had arrived. Admiral Iron Pants Rafferty was coming for a sneak inspection. Rafferty was a man who looked for dust on a coconut and insubordination in a palm frond. "If Rafferty sees this place," Binghamton whispered, his eyes widening, "he'll have my stripes for breakfast." My stomach acid could start a Buick.